to Connecting the Dots in Early Childhood Education and to a third in a series of roundtable conversations on race and equity in early childhood education. We are so pleased that you've joined us. So let's get started. Welcome to Connecting the Dots in Early Childhood Education. I'm Pat, and I'm privileged to be your hostess once again for us, our third in a series of roundtable conversations on race and equity. And I'm joined for this conversation, as always, by my dear friend, Shannon Vasquez and Allison Joseph Allen. So welcome, ladies. And I thought we would start by recapping the first two conversations that we had as we're starting to create this format for this important work. And the first one really dealt with what are you bringing to the table, and how can you share your own feelings about race, your own feelings about your own culture, your own education, all of the things that have helped to shape and make you the person that you are today, and any biases that you may have. Those are all things that need to be unpacked as you enter into these important conversations with your colleagues. So that's really what we dealt with in the first conversation, which we hope that you'll take a look at when you have the chance. And the second one, we moved into thinking about how can you begin that work in your own classroom. So when children present as being interested or working out some of their thinking around race and equity, how can you feel comfortable stepping into those conversations and not avoiding them? And also, how can you make the space for that work to happen in their play by the invitations that you create in the classroom? So that's what we talked about in the second one, as well as sharing resources, which we always hope to do in these conversations. And Shannon, I believe last time it was you who brought in the Sesame Street information about the new characters, the dad and the son, and their conversation about melatonin. I don't know if you want to speak to that just quickly about, from the child's point of view, what the child was interested in and how the father kind of addressed that, if you recall.
Sure. I think Sesame Street has, historically done a really good job of trying to remain current and trying to bring in topics that are really important to children at a child's level. So in this particular case, I believe it was a parent and a son, and really exploring things like same and different, and exploring things like skin color and I think I don't remember much else, but I'll watch it again and so I can refresh my memory. But yeah, I think it's important to have tools at the ready for parents and for teachers to help learn about the kind of language children can handle and the kind of language to address things at their level in a way that's simple and truthful and straightforward.
Right. Allison, did you want to add anything to that?
I remember one thing that we did speak about, and I think this was from what I did follow up with what Shannon had pointed out, was like as she said, the simplicity with which the father explained a lot of the touchy subjects. It was great to sort of remind us that whilst children want to know, it's in some ways a skill, but you don't really have to overthink how much you tell them. Sometimes they just want to know enough, but understand that you may have to be ready, willing, and open to revisiting it and coming back around as they process and have questions. So really, sometimes people are very hesitant to launch into something like that because of how complex it is, but really just breaking it down very simply, which I think was done, as Shannon pointed out very well, by Sesame Street.
Wonderful. Yeah, Sesame Street is definitely a role model for all of us in this work. I think this conversation tonight, as the three of us were brainstorming, we're kind of building out from the round table, that smaller grouping and thinking around those initial conversations to bringing it into the classroom. And then now we're starting to think about, well, the work has got to be supported by the bigger organization or the school community that you're in. And so we were thinking about the mission statement and the importance of the mission statement as it relates to this work. And so that's something that we wanted to kind of ask some questions about tonight and think about in your school and in your community. Is that something that you've read? Have you read your mission statement? Is it something that is being supported at the beginning of the year in meetings with parents, in meetings, in group meetings with teachers and staff? Or does that kind of not come up? And is the mission statement that is representing your school and their work around race and equity, is it being revisited as things are changing all the time? So that was something that we wanted to talk a little bit about tonight. And I want to throw it over to either of you ladies to kind of add in some of your thoughts about the mission statement and the importance of that.
You go, Shan.
No, you
You go. So no, I liked a lot of what you said, Pat, and specifically the issue of revisiting it. You brought up the issue of whether or not people are aware of their mission statement, how visible it is, how live I would say a document, because that's usually where you find it, how live that is and how much it really permeates everything that's going on. And the other thing I felt that you raised that was very important was revisiting it. If nothing else, to keep it current and live and fresh in your minds, but also to see if it is still appropriate with the current events from the last couple of years and the shift that we are wonderfully taking to really focus on issues of race and equity. Quite a few mission statements, I think, are lacking in the wording that is truly inclusive and really specifically identifies and maybe holds themselves accountable for that. I hope I'm wrong, and I encourage everybody to go and look into their mission statements and come and tell me you were wrong. But as you say, it's really important to keep looking at it, reflecting on it, and seeing if it does still, if it does still reflect where you want to be, what kind of organization you want to be, and if you all are still on track to achieving it.
Thanks, Allison. Shannon, what were you thinking? I know you were going to say.
Yeah, I really, for me and for the teachers I work with, I really want to constantly be thinking about what it is that fuels me, what is the thing that I'm passionate about, and what are the things that I believe, and what are the areas that are sort of where are my boundaries and what are the lines that I'm not willing to cross. And so thinking about a mission statement and how it can help to recharge you, help you to ground yourself into your why and your passion, because we know that teaching is hard work. Teaching during these times is hard work, and leading during hard times, these specific times, is hard work. And we want to constantly be filling our tank and constantly be able to connect to the things that drive us beyond maybe the superficial and beyond the day-to-day. So thinking about our why and thinking about our passions is going to really help us make good decisions and stay in the work. Because we need people to have longevity and sustainability, and a mission statement can help to outline those things and also help you to define the things that don't work for you and don't align with your belief system, with your efforts around race and equity in learning and teaching. And if they don't, it's a cue for you to have some really hard conversations with the leadership and the people around you, and then make decisions about how to find a place that does line up, that does have a mission that lines up with who you are as an educator.
Yeah, that's so
I think, yeah.
I think that, yeah, having that umbrella that everybody's working under that has been discussed and has been weighed in upon by the community and is a living document, and not static, is so important. And once that is in place, you can feel empowered to impact change. And that's something that I think all of us in this time of absolute uncertainty and confusion with all of the different things that are going on in our world, we're all looking for that. And it could give us all a sense of empowerment when we can work under an umbrella that is going to shelter all of those things that we've, decided are the most important, and make you feel empowered, which we all want to feel some now.
Yeah, I really agree. I really liked a lot of what you brought up, both of you, especially you, Shannon. You sort of hinted at the mission statement serving to ground you and really give you that focus. And what you said about the umbrella that we're all working together with, working from, it really reminded me, Pat, as you said it, of a community, of something that really pulls us together as well as grounding us. So it's a great way to really see if you're on the same page, if you have the same vision. And we know that, I think all of us know from experience how much easier it is to function, work, and just enjoy what you're doing when everybody's on the same page and you're not really fighting against each other, whether that is within your school community or in the other sort of a little broader community with families as well. Having that really grounds us. And something else you raised about it meshing with your own your own beliefs. And I remember, as we were preparing for this, having to craft my own philosophy, I think, of education as I was leaving my master's program. And really, I'm going to dig it up and really see exactly how true I am to it right now, if I've changed and if it was comprehensive enough. Because I think at the time, I don't think I would have really looked at the issues of diversity, even though I was in many ways living it or subconsciously tuning into that.
Wow. Oh, that would be so interesting. I can't wait to hear about what you find and what you learn in reflecting on that. And you've sparked me to want to do my own. So I'll do some digging as well, and we can have another conversation about what we find. I think the only other part of this conversation that I would like to weigh in on is that while there's a bigger organization at work defining the mission statement for the school, how do you find your own voice to be a part of that? And if we're thinking about the roundtable conversations, it could certainly start there. Like, you can bring in that mission statement, you can take a look at it, you can decide some changes or some thoughts or ideas that you might want to bring to the administration and engage in that conversation with them. And also, as we were talking tonight, we talked about maybe creating your own mission statement amongst the teachers, and what is your mission statement of how you will bring race and equity, more race and equity conversations and work specifically in your classrooms in this way. And so creating your own mission statement could also be a great activity for you to do. But mission statements are important because they do define and frame the work that people have made agreements to be involved in. And once you have that involvement from your administration, you can have the security to know that they have your back when you have some moments that are complicated or confusing, or that parents don't quite understand. If you know that this exists and that we're all working towards these goals, and it's been well communicated, as you said, Shannon, in one of our conversations tonight earlier, are they, is this something that's really been communicated to the whole community, or is it just a document that's been kind of posted and left alone? So is there anything else that is on your minds tonight that you want to contribute? We have just a few more minutes if anybody has any lingering thoughts on this topic or anything else.
I just want to say I really love what Allison said about like digging out her mission statement that she wrote however many years ago and looking for the things that have changed and looking for the ways in which the things that are still the same can be broadened or can be tweaked to reflect who you are now as an educator as opposed to who you were then. Because really this perpetual growth that we are in is so important. And that's what this work is about. You know, we want to do better when we know better, right? And we want to create spaces for children to be their whole selves, including their race, and learn in a way that is so equitable that they won't accept situations where there's not equity. And so, yeah, I think that's really important. Thank you.
I think you
One-
both
one-
summed it up. Yeah.
And one thing I just wanted to say, as Shannon said, that it reminded me, a lot of times agencies might have two things, a vision and a mission statement.
Mm.
And sometimes it keys into like where you want to go and how you're going to get there, you know, which is very important. And in almost everything we do in trying to create transformative change. So those are things that you may want to really look and see how it's aligned. And as Shannon said, how it's made to live every day and shared with everybody.
And how it can empower you to actually feel like you can step into this work, because it is a document that is living and is there to support the work, and that it's defining it for the community. And that's really what the mission statement and vision should do. But you two both just brought it all together tonight. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy day to once again sit at the round table and engage in the thinking that we believe and are passionate about needs to be being done all the time, right? And if any way we can help support that, that's what we're here to do. So thanks for the time, ladies. And we will reconvene and we will invite you all to join us. Until then, take care.
Right.